What's going on there, guys? Normally, I try to work the plugs in organically in the podcast. I wasn't able to do that this time. This is one of the greatest podcasts that I was so thankful that he actually came through and told me his story. This is one of the greatest podcasts, man, in my opinion, that I've been a part of, and Jeremy Lara, man, that was a hell of a story. He's fucking a trooper. Been going through a lot, and it's just cool to hear his thoughts on everything, and it was just great. So real quick before we get into the episode too far, I'm just gonna run through my plugs real fast. Like I said, I forgot to try to work them in while we were talking today, but like I said, it's a hell of an episode. Once again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It means the world to me that you guys give it a listen. I just do this for fun, so me and my friends can hang out, and the fact that you guys tune in is super, super, super cool. So, but real quick, we got t-shirts coming. Me and Matt Villegas. Matt was able to get in touch with NoThirdLane.com. They're the ones helping us out with everything. But they tremendous people, man. They are wonderful. And Matt was able to get t-shirts. We're gonna get 50 of them to start. See if you guys like them. Um, it's a red and black design on this one. They're just gonna be like, this is like the one time we're gonna do these, and then the other ones we'll probably do like yellow and stuff like that for, of course, for Yellow City Comedy. But these are like the exclusive. We only ordered 50 just to kind of see how they go. NoThirdLane.com, man. You guys go check them out for any screen printing that you guys need to get done. I think their website's still under construction, but you can always contact them on Facebook and stuff like that. I do believe. The cool part about NoThirdLane.com is 10% of all the proceeds, or whatever the fuck they call them, all the money, 10% gets kicked back into the community, basically by providing Texas students with a college scholarship. So the money helps go into help someone go to get an education, and that's badass. So, and on top of that, you can actually save a little bit of money by entering promo code YCC and go about it like that. So yeah, pretty cool stuff there. And always at Spitefully Spicy on Instagram. And then that's my boy Colin Sucks at Colin Sucks. And I may have done the plugs and just forgot, but I'm doing this for a safety measure. I notice I forget a lot. Spitefully Spicy, go check him out on Instagram for the greatest hot sauces, salsas. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to call them, but they are delicious. They have he has the most. He does it like out of love. Like I had to force him to do the like make an Instagram. Come on, man. Instead of just your friends enjoying it, you can let the world enjoy this. They're fucking delicious. Strawberry ghost pepper. I think one of them's like strawberry Carolina Reaper, blueberry ghost pepper. He has all the way down to like just hatch green chili. Great flavors. Go check out. It's at Spitefully Spicy on Instagram with at Colin Sucks. That's Colin with one L, and Sucks is SUX. You can just follow them and hit them up. They're great. Fucking wonderful. And then we have dragstertubes.com. Dragster right? Dragstertubes.com. These are like these little cigarette tubes. I like them, man. You look at them, you're like, why is that filter so fucking big? It's because if you're alone, dude, you don't need a big cigarette, right? You don't need a huge cigarette. But if you're at a party, maybe you're sharing this cigarette with like 4 or 5 people. It's going around the room. Whatever rule you want, left is law, right is right. I don't know. Everyone has their own thing going on, but you can make it the size that you want. And they actually have a cool little instructional video that I watched where they just use it. They suck up the tobacco like it's a straw, and it worked. It was actually pretty incredible. But yeah, so dragstertubes.com. You can contact them, and if you want to help your boy out, just go leave a little comment saying you heard about him on the underneath anything like Yellow City Comedy, like anything like that. If you want to say Weekly Relapse, Bomb City Talk, I believe Matt Villegas. I don't know if he's plugging them, but he can if he wants to. They're fucking awesome. Dragster Tubes. You can also find these at the Green Gorilla here in Amarillo, Texas. And the intro music, as always, is Beat Bodega. My buddies, my good friends. I believe I played a little bit of Mac Lethal. You guys know I love that guy. I love his music. And then at the end, I played Token. All you gotta do is to follow. I'm bad at links. You guys know that. I'm bad at it. I need a guy who can help me do this. But Mac Lethal on YouTube, as well as Token on YouTube. These guys are awesome. I believe that's the music that I played. Like I said, I was so into this guy's story that I kind of don't even remember it, other than like the crazy details and stuff. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and stop fucking talking. It was supposed to be 30 seconds, turn into 5 goddamn minutes. I'm bad at doing stuff I can't streamline anything. See, I'm still doing it. I'm still fucking rambling. I'm going to cut this off, and I will start the podcast. You guys fucking enjoyed it. Thank you again for tuning in to the Weekly Relapse, man. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Jeremy Lara. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Weekly Relapse.
Nailed it,
Boom.
dude. Fucking nailed it.
You are listening to the Weekly Relapse with your host, Skylar Potter.
The day is done. Let's party, junkies. It's good for your soul. Every now and then it's lose control.
I really dig this song.
B Bodega.
Come and dance if you dare.
Dude, Sam Quattlebaum's going nasty on that bass, dude.
It sounds like the opening level to Sonic Adventure 2 battle.
Oh, man, don't even get me started. I'll play some Ronald Jenkins like I did there in LA, yeah.
So every episode of your podcast I've listened to, you've brought up Ronald Jenkins.
I love him.
He's great.
I fucking love him. Before we get started, thanks for tuning into the Weekly Relapse. I'm your host, Skylar Potter. Got Jeremy DeLara with me.
What up?
Before we started recording, you were telling me you've never heard of Mac Lethal.
Never heard of him.
Are you a big rap guy? Do you like rap?
Yeah.
I like rap.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you, just because it's the one about Joe Rogan. Dude, he's so good.
At McDonald's,
Every time I'm on the fucking podcast.
I know, man.
Time.
Have you done the
YouTube.
free preview of YouTube Red?
No, I don't want to enter my credit card information.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the guy who forgets to cancel shit.
Okay.
I got Game Pass, I got Hulu, I got Netflix. I only wanted those things for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
Ari goes, yeah, but you got to read the words.
It's about Mac Lethal.
Yeah, so
he
in that-
could be making everything up.
So in that sense,
didn't sound
he's
good.
gone too far. He's like triple F tits.
You can't sing along with that.
No.
The triple F tits.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
he went crazy.
We're like,
Okay, now I'm offended. Did you just say you can't sing along
guy
with
is
triple
so
F
good,
tits?
dude.
Because that's bullshit. Check it out. Girls with triple F tits need love too. As long as they're real like the moon landing and they are not fake like Kung Fu. Joe, next time I'm in LA, you will have to let me come through. Come on, baby, we gotta do another podcast together. The streets need this. Triple F's. I'm flipping a bucket fast flow for Ari and Joe. My flow is freezing and it's frigid like it's 40 below. Fatally fucking famous figures up like fitting only 4 doses. A finger fuck a French freak in my Ford Focus. In February, a fat to fitness females. Fuck food stamps. You're fat from fixing free meals. 4,000 first place finishes in Fortnite. I finished Floyd in the first. I'm just being forthright. Freak party fool. Fly the flag with the 50 thieves. Triple F flow. I hit harder than Triple G. Fly to France and feast on fried flounder in the forest with a florist named Florence. When I found the floozy floating, her fainty fragrance funky like a fish. Made her scream like Francis and got who fucked her with his fist. Flavor like fried fowl. Flossy, foxy, foster French fist fighters like Faraz Sahabi. Fast like a Ferrari Fiorano when I'm flicking the finger fornicating with a freedom fighter in the front seat. Freestyle flawless and festive flows to feel fantastic like fellatio with no front teeth. I'm futuristic when I forge a formidable fireball from furious vision of Fukushima. You fool, this ain't even my final form. Fucker, my flow is a fusion of Goku and Vegeta. And that's enough F words, the song's hella tight. Saying Mac Lethal ain't strong on the mic is like saying Brian Callen could blindfold himself and fuck up Brendan Schaub in a fight. Young Jamie is a desperado. Look into it like Eddie Bravo. My flow's a rehab. Blue cheese with wings to go fuck your mother like Joey Diaz. Does Mac Lethal got a tight flow to get rich? Would John Jones send a white girl a dick pic? That's enough of the go flow. I drop fast. Peace to the Joe Rogan podcast. Bang! Come on.
Dang,
Dude,
man.
he is so good.
He's a wordsmith, man. Have you ever listened to Watsky?
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me kind of like that. I have seen this guy. This is a guy that does like different styles of rap.
the,
like
27 styles of rapping.
I've seen that video.
He's also the one who's like, I'm cooking pancakes, cook with me now. And he's like in his kitchen. Like that was years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've been following him for a very long time.
Yeah.
He does a lot of stuff like that where, like this one, I think it took him 67 takes. He even looks bummed the fuck out at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning it pops up like how many takes
Yeah.
it took him to do it. But he does the ABCs.
Oh, yeah. I know that look.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done enough videos on YouTube to know that look.
Just so fucking bummed.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Yeah, 67th take.
No.
I adamantly attack the alphabet with an anecdotal algorithm made of adamantium. I'm like an Adderall addicted anaconda or an alcoholic or an asshole like A-Rod. No anabolics, but I brutally and beautifully butcher the banging beat. Brushing bubbly all over your boobie and booty beat, cause I'm a carpenter. I come carving your carcass, leaving all these cartfish crushed on the carpet. Crumbling crawn in Colorado with my cow cronies. I'm cramming it full of condiments like it's a calzone. Delicious, I didn't drive and drink. Whether diamonds or dimes, man, I'm diving deep like an electric eel. I'm elegantly eloquent in every cent I've ever earned. Just enter me in the election. I got 11 brains like an enormously educated Einstein. Well, elephantitis to the erection. A freak, I'm fighting with the flat-footed felon. 5 falcons just flew to a fountain and fell in. Google it, googly-eyed girls to get inside. Golly G from Glasgow to Guatemala, gentrified. A hippopotamus is high in hair when he heckles me in higher station. Hang down, this hoe, hysterectomy and hateful hieroglyph for her like hyperbolic hubris. And hang with hipster Helen, that's a hooker with the huge hips. I'm ill, I'm Icarus, I ignite idiots and idioms and issues. Jumpy jargon, I joust like
There's a
Jacare
problem,
jive.
he
Japanese
tempos
judo
up,
and
dude.
jujitsu. Killing him like a kid, gotta kill the Ram
Jeez.
Academy for Kwanzaa. Made a Komodo, dragon skin. Rich like a Klingon that be kicking it at the Kremlin, but I'm kicking through your door, call me Kramer Kardashian. Lethal, literally literal, little limerick that be littler than a leprechaun. A menace out of manifest and melancholy mayhem, making a metamorphosis until I mechanize like Megatron. Nick Nolte, a nerdy native of Nebraska, needs a neon ninja and a nectarine from NASA. Ominously, I mean it's obvious you see your orthodontist dudes and out oodles of onomatopoeias. Oswald Patton, picking a pocket, plucking a patent. I took a purple poop and Patron for pure passion. I got a question, gotta quiz ya. Let's step on the gas and go quicker. We're really getting ready for the revolution. Reel the rotten rhythm, ring around the Russian Ronda Rousey resort. Serve a simple cinnamon assembly that's smoking like a sheet of Sudafed. I'm swiftly swimming like a seahorse. Kitties on the tiller, tell her that'll toe tag. Terminator gun inside a turtle tattered tote bag. Thugs are un-American, unattractive, and I wanted as an ugly pair of Uggs. A vivid, evasive venomous with the wicked wombats. Only working with women is getting xenophobic as the Xanadu. XOXO, yippee-ki-yay, yours truly, Mac. Yes, yo. Oh shit, I forgot Z. Zebra.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, dude.
He doesn't even want to be doing this anymore.
Yeah, I'm done. I've done the same thing over and over and over again.
I saw a video and like you shared the other day, you singing, and you were talking about faith and stuff while you were doing it. I was wanted, if you wanted to talk about it, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, you are a man of faith.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was actually to jump right in. I basically
Yeah, no, there was no segue
Yeah,
there. I
yeah.
wasn't like, you play music at the 806. I've seen you
yeah.
perform. You're a great musician.
Tell me about your religion.
No.
But
The reason
don't
it's
yeah.
Because I guess my line of work or our line of work, like not a lot of people are like driven by faith.
Sure.
Especially mine. Comedy is a darker.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beast of its own.
Right, and even dudes that are like Pete Holmes is the first. I've been listening to him all day today on a podcast, and he's for the last like 10 years has been. He started off in at Gordon College, planning to be a youth pastor.
And see, that's
Yeah,
awesome to me.
yeah.
I tried it, man. I tried to have faith. I
Yeah.
did it for years. I thought I believed in it.
Sure.
The whole time I was doing it, I was like, these motherfuckers I feel like they're lying. Like the people who are singing with their hands up, and I was like, God's speaking. Why isn't God speaking to me? I'll put my hands up, and I was like, oh, they're all faking it. Like that, that's how I felt. That doesn't mean it's true. That's just how I felt.
Right.
So it's really like my mom's extremely religious. My dad's extremely, and it's something that I grew up in. So I'm not like weirded out by it.
Sure.
It's not like my parents were scientists and they were like, dude, don't let them trick you.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
They loved faith, and we tried that. I've been baptized 3 times.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like if you know me, that's weird.
Sure.
Yeah. So I actually find it really interesting, and it's something I would never want to take away from somebody.
Oh, totally.
It's more or less I get so interested because maybe you'll say the thing that makes me go, wait a second. You know what I
Maybe,
mean?
yeah.
Like I'm not saying I'm searching for faith.
Sure.
I'm not even saying I'm agnostic. I genuinely I'm an atheist, but I also am open-minded enough to say like I might be wrong, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I might. Like
Yeah, totally.
I thought Limp Bizkit was good for years. For years, I jammed them. Yeah, I was wrong.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I saw that post by you, and it actually, like, it inspiring might be the wrong word, but it's the closest to the right word I can find.
Sure. Yeah. Inspiring feels so, like, kind of cheesy.
Maybe misused.
But I mean, yeah. No, I get it. I think so. Yeah. Basically, I was a youth pastor and a worship leader for about 8 years.
Be a little bit closer to that.
Yeah,
microphone.
sure.
You can actually slide the bass towards you and everything.
But I was a youth pastor for, so I started in the church pretty young. Just kind of like my mom was basically using it as a means for me to be around people. I homeschooled when I was a lot younger.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Yeah,
later.
so that's a completely other thing. But so basically, yeah, I kind of grew up in the church, kind of exploring faith. I never really bought into. I also kind of would look at the people who. There's just people that you can tell are phoning it in, and there are a lot of people that are phoning it in.
Here's the thing: the moment I started acting like I was super into the Lord, like. I knew it was fake. Like, I felt like it was fake. I not knew. I guess I can't use that definitively. But
Sure.
The moment I was like, I don't think this shit's real. And I maybe if I try harder, and then I started doing that, girls found it overwhelmingly like just the most attractive thing.
Yeah.
I went to school to try to hit on church.
Yeah.
Like church camp. I fucking love church camp. Like if I go back feeling how I feel now, I would still go to church camp. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Every minute of it.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah,
and I get that. Yeah.
So you were like a youth, like so you like.
I was practically a pastor.
So I mean, you know the Bible.
I mean, I don't want to say that I know. I was really fortunate that the church I grew up in, or not necessarily the church I grew up in, but the one I wound up landing at when I was kind of in my late teens and into college.
Yeah.
The pastor there was basically teaching a lot of like college level theology classes, and so our church was really really into making sure people were literate and kind of understood what we were reading and believing. So I was really fortunate in that. So yeah, I did get to learn a lot about the scriptures and how important it is to kind of take all of it. And this is really early on. Granted, like after the last 4 years that I've had a really interesting kind of journey through my faith, and I was probably a little bit more literalist. I don't know. This is really hard.
It's one of the hard things to talk about,
right? Because like there are things that I still really, really hold really tightly to about the Bible, but there are also other things that I'm not necessarily trying to be so certain about.
I found and maybe you can shed some light on this for me. One of the things I found that made me question it the fastest, I guess, is probably the way to go about it. Was let's say like this year I'm going to this church, and then there's this pastor, and he reads this verse, and he tells me what it means, right?
Right.
Da 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 da. What they're saying is this. This is what he means by that. And then let's say he retires, we get a new pastor. The next year he reads that same verse and tells me it means something completely different.
Yeah.
Maybe along the same lines, but way different than the first guy. Well, then I go to youth group, and the next year this guy reads the same verse and he tells me a third meaning. And then he retires, and I got a new guy, and this guy reads for the fourth year in a row. Someone's read this verse to me, and it means something completely different than the last 3 times I've heard it.
Yeah.
And that right there, I was like, I don't think if I do believe in God, if this is something that I need in my life and all that, I don't need to go to the church for it. I found that I could read, like, they're doing what I'm doing at home. They're reading it and go, I think this is what it means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then they just go up there and tell it.
Right.
So, like, it wasn't so much that I first rejected my faith. It was like I rejected the church before
Totally.
I rejected my faith.
That's usually the case.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that the hard part about people teaching the Bible in church, especially in the American church, is we've definitely placed a lot of, and not to say that the responsibility isn't important, but we have placed a lot of pressure on pastors and teachers to be the sole person that gives us our perspective on our faith. But at the end of the day, granted, whatever calling they might have, every person, we're all people, humans, reading literature and trying to interpret what we think it means. And that's hard because you are going to run into different people interpreting different things. And
Yeah, you have people who, like, use it correctly and help
Totally.
people, and then you have Westboro.
right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a good
exactly.
example.
And I'll say, like, people that are misusing the Bible in such an extreme way are definitely not taking all of the Bible as a whole, you know,
Right.
because like I have a relative who he messaged me shortly after everything that happened in September, kind of asking me some different questions about the Bible, and one of the things that he had asked me was, there are 2 instances in the Bible. One that says, you know, in the Old Testament, there's a part in the Bible that tells us that if someone were like to take an eye for an eye, right? If someone takes your ear, you take theirs, right?
Okay.
But then you read in the New Testament, Jesus says to turn the other cheek. If someone strikes your left cheek,
And I feel like
right.
as a society and like as a
Right.
country, we've fucking lost that whole, like,
Right.
even not even like from the Bible, just
Right.
as like a way of life.
Right.
That used to be like a sign of like the bigger man.
Right, yeah.
We've lost that.
Right. And-
our president doesn't even believe in that shit.
Yeah, it's this whole thing, and my relative's biggest problem was at how those contradict. Right, one of them is take an eye for an eye, which is in the Bible. It's a command from God.
Yeah.
But then you also have Jesus saying to turn the other cheek, and the biggest thing about the is having to take the Bible is a bunch of books put into one book, but it is also still just one book. And
It's kind of like that movie on Netflix, the Buster Scruggs movie. I don't know if you've watched it. It's a Coen Brothers movie, but it's
Okay.
just 5 short stories.
Yeah.
All compiled into one movie. None of them have a fucking thing to do with the other one, other
Okay.
than they're set in the Wild West.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you read, like, I don't know, man. It's such a broad topic. Clearly, it's been around for a long time.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's different ways to look at it,
right,
and there's positive and negative ways to look at it.
And I think the thing about the Bible, the thing that I still definitely believe about it is that that even the stuff in the Old Testament, even some of the things that we may not necessarily understand, you have to look at it contextually. Look at it as some of these things were written in a time. For instance, there's this part where it talks about God is telling the people his people to go to the city to take over the city, and they're like, take the women as your like sex slaves, basically
your new wife,
right? Sort of, yeah. And they're just like, hey, and if they don't make you happy, then
don't be scared to punch the wall, like
right.
that kind of shit.
Well, they were like, basically the people's problems with it was like, it says take them as your wife, and if they don't please you, then give them a certificate of divorce, like let go of them. And a lot of people are like, well, that's God's telling people to just take these women against their will. But when you look contextually, women, to give someone the certificate of divorce was a huge thing. That meant that woman had rights and had a freedom. Right. But that's contextual. It's thousands of years ago. Right. And that's the hard thing is there are history books, there are poetry books, there are letters. There are all sorts of different kinds of literature in the Bible, and depending on where you land.
Do you think your faith should evolve with the times around you?
I do think so. I do think that it's a combination of that, and also there are just certain things for me specifically in the Bible that I think transcend the times. There are things that don't, obviously, but there are things that I think are constant regardless of how the times change. And I think the beautiful journey is that we as humans get the opportunity to explore that and figure out what that means. And we're all doing it wrong. There's not one person, there's not one believer or not believer that's doing it right. And for anyone to say that they are, they're lying to you.
Dude, no bullshit. If you go back and ask one of my best friends when I was growing up, like his family had like on like I think it was Wednesday, like home church? What do you call those?
Like
Bible study.
Yeah, Bible study, small group.
Home church. Clearly, I've been out of the loop for a while. But I used to go over there and we'd do that, and I always thought it was real boring because they were like by the book. But then there was a point where I don't know, like I was super like I was reading my Bible every night. Yeah. And I had my friend Andrew at my house like on a Friday night. And I turned off Halo 2, and I was like, we can continue after we read this. And I went and grabbed a Bible, gave it to him, and I forced him. Like, he didn't want to do it. Yeah. And he was open, like, dude, we don't do this here. This is what we do at my house. Well, you don't do this here. And I'm like, no, we do. Yeah. We do. Do you want to go to hell? And I forced him to read, and it was like I just opened it. I was like, all right, we're doing this page. Like, I didn't have a verse. It wasn't like I'm like I didn't try to translate it. Just read it out loud, and then we're like, cool, let's play some fucking Halo. You know what I mean? Yeah. My first baptism was a little sketchy. It was a swimming party. Like, we're going to a pool party, and it turned into my baptism real fucking quick when we got there.
Yeah.
You know, it was in a different state. My mom wasn't even there. My dad did it, right? And it's like, I've known him for, this like the third time I've met the dude. Right. And he's like, I want to. And, you know, like, you're like, I'm like, I want to go off the diving board. They're like, well, you can after this. And I'm like, well, let's get it over with. You know, like, whatever we got to do, let's knock it out. Right. Like, so I got rebaptized by my buddy, or when I got back into town. So I got baptized twice in a year. Because as soon as I got back in town, my mom was all like, well, it's fucked. I want to see you get baptized, basically. Yeah. So then did it, like, at the church with, like, the big, like, it was a big deal. Like, it was scary. There's a lot of fucking people. Yeah. And then once again, when I was like 15 or 16, I had my buddy Derek Randall baptize me at the Epicenter or whatever it was called. Okay. Is that what it's called? I don't know, that big-ass church over off Hillside. They were building it then. Okay. It started off at a different place. We would go there for youth group, and then we'd go out there. They had a skate park like in the middle. Really? And
yeah, dude. I didn't
a lot of video games. Like
normal youth group stuff.
Dude, one time we were there. This has nothing to do with God. I don't know what came over me. I've never kicked a basketball in my life up until this point. I'm sitting there. We're all hanging out. My girlfriend's there. Yada, yada, yada. I fucking kicked this shit just to try to be cool, I guess. I don't know what. Yeah. I was like, I should kick the ball. And I did it. Yeah. And, dude, this thing, I kicked it. It was such a good hit. Like, it'd be like one of those ones that fooled the goalie. Right. Like, I'd have got the net from deep, right? Totally. But it was curving, and I was like, Liz, and then she turned and it just domed her so hard.
And
Like
this was your girlfriend. You hit your girlfriend
in the face.
Nice.
She didn't break up with me or anything, but
Hey.
dude, it was like one of those. And then I felt bad because it was so like, oh my god, and I
Right.
just started laughing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I laugh in uncomfortable situations.
No,
I'm like,
yeah.
like Foreman's mom from that '70s show.
Yeah.
Dude, if it gets weird, I'm laughing.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I can't help it. It's just,
Yeah. It's funny you say that story doesn't have anything to do with God, but the fact that your girlfriend didn't break up with you, that's grace.
I don't know.
And it comes from
we
Jesus.
were 14. She was like, I don't. That's
No,
what
I know.
boys do.
I'm just making
Yeah.
a joke. I think it's funny.
But yeah, no, that I have tried to kick. After that, anytime I kick a basketball, I feel like I break my foot.
Yeah.
That one, I got up underneath it, man. It was
Maybe
gorgeous.
maybe your body is just like
The
remembering
Lord
that.
led
Right.
that ball to her face.
Yeah, exactly. So we got this
He
conversation.
was like, "Stop talking shit." Like,
Right, yeah.
she was running her mouth. I don't know about what.
Right. That's funny.
Nah, man, it was
No,
cool.
it's yeah. I will say that video that I posted and everything. I'm definitely in a really weird season where I'm kind of deconstructing what I believe and what I don't, and
I wouldn't let. I mean, I think. There's no way to say like you're doing great for everything that you've been going through.
surprisingly, yeah.
And if faith is something that's been a fucking staple in that, don't ever let it go.
Sure. I think the hardest part of it is, so basically, I'll just kind of run down the last 4 years of my life as quickly as I can and kind of give some insight into maybe why I'm in this weird place with my faith. Basically, starting in 2015, I'm burnt out at my job. I'm working at the church. I'm ready to be done. I wasn't taking care of myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically at all. Trying to give to a bunch of people.
That's when GTA Online
Right,
was big.
right, yeah.
I get it, man. Nobody was doing anything.
Nobody's doing anything, yeah.
Nobody did anything in 2015.
But I was basically just kind of running myself into the ground, trying to give to people. And it wasn't their fault. They couldn't help it. It was my job. I loved them, and I wanted to help them. But basically, the day before Thanksgiving in 2015, I find my mom dead in her house.
Oh, my God.
And basically, that all of my burnout, my job, I have to put on the back burner and now deal with this thing of the woman that, because it was just me and her for pretty much my entire life. I'd see my dad, and we're close now, but it was just me and her. We had been homeless a lot. We'd done we'd survived together, and I just lose her. And having to deal with that. I deal with that for about 2 months. I jump back into ministry about January, February, and go on all cylinders again.
Yeah, just kind of like.
Yeah, with no break, no real therapy, nothing. I go a year, step down from youth in August of 2016. By October, the church.
And this is in Amarillo?
Borger.
Borger.
And by 2016 in October, the church kind of gets to this place. People kind of stop giving. A lot of people kind of transitioned out of our church for various reasons. And the thing about churches are funded by the people going. So when they stop giving and stop going, if you're on staff, like they're the ones really paying your job.
Right.
And so at some point they got to a place where they couldn't pay me anymore. So they have to let me go. This is after being there for 7 years. So now I'm still dealing with my mom. Now I've lost this job that sort of gave me identity. And then I'm spiraling into depression this entire time. And then I go another year. During this time, my wife at the time finds out she's losing her job. The store she was working at was closing. She worked for Penny's, and they were one of the stores closing, so she loses her job. So we spend the winter of 2017, so January, February. I start working at a pizzeria. She's trying to find work. She finds work about May, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like, listen, these people are going to expect one of us to be a good person, and it's not going to be me. So I basically put all this pressure on my wife at the time to be
Like
so,
the church goer.
right. So the face of like things are okay, and she does that. You know, she's just trying to be supportive. You don't know how to help someone who's just lost their parent and then gone through a bunch of other stuff, and you just try to help them however they can, let them be what they need to. So that happens. We go through. She gets this new job. About October of 2017, my wife tells me that she's been talking to someone at work and decides that she wants to get a divorce. In November, between my birthday and our anniversary, she breaks this news to me.
Jesus
And
Christ,
then,
man.
She moves out in December. We commit to do 3 months of therapy. So November, December, January, we see a therapist to try to make sure that's the decision she wants to do. By the end of January, she does. And get divorced May of this year. So I'm like newly divorced, ladies. And
He has no baggage.
yeah, none at all. And so that happens. All the while I meet my friend. I was going to call her Jay just
Yeah,
because I don't know
that's fine.
what all I can talk about right now. But basically, I meet her around January. She's going through a lot of stuff too, and we both kind of just start helping each other. We start hanging out a lot, become really good friends. And then through that, she became like my best friend. She's outside of the 806. She was the reason I was coming to Amarillo, just to hang out because we would go eat or whatever. And she was just a really, really wonderful person who kind of pulled me out of some really dark shit that I was in my mind. So then September of this year happens. Basically, someone busts into her place, winds up attacking us, stabbing me in the back, cutting my wrist from thumb to pinky, severing the 5 flexor tendons in my wrist, puts me in the hospital for 2 weeks. The intruder winds up taking her life that night. And, basically I'm in the hospital for 2 weeks with a chest tube in my body and staples all over me, trying to get better. And in the middle of all of this, prior to the attack, I was extremely depressed and saw no reason to live. And I was just kind of like floating through. The only thing really keeping me afloat was my friend, and vice versa, I think. So all that say, it got really heavy, but I'm trying to get to a point. The point is all of this stuff, for someone who was active in the church, who was like serving and giving, and I wasn't perfect, and I definitely had a lot of demons I was fighting, even being a pastor. I felt like there were times where I'd get really angry at God because I was just like, I did all of this stuff. I sort of played by the rules, and these horrible things still happen. And it was to me that was a miscalculated view of God and what He does and who He is. But or she or it, however you want to, what kind of pronoun you want to give the divine. But
you gotta be real careful. You can't assume anything anymore.
right, yeah. But I dealt with dealing with all of that. I've had to really examine what is still true. And I at the end of the day, I still believe the gospel. I still believe that humanity is looking for something beyond what we're experiencing here, some sort of salvation, some sort of hope. And that's why we get in relationships. That's why we pursue goals and careers. Why we get into all the things that we do. We're looking for joy, and we're looking for good in the bad. And I just believe that not that those things are discredited. I think that all of those things are still important and good, and we should be able to enjoy them. I think that they're merely echoes of something beyond,
Right.
which is the divine, and that's what we're looking for. And I believe that the gospel.
I'll
Yeah.
go out on a limb and just say this right now, man. For somebody who's gone through that much shit,
Mm-hmm.
and to like maintain the level of faith that you have, that shows how strong it. Dude, I got tested a little bit when I was 13 and dropped the church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude,
Right.
you've really taken a few on the chin, and then
yeah.
and you just stood right back up.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I definitely, the things I'm saying, those are things I still believe, but I still also am like, I'm hesitant to really participate in the church culture that I was around for so long. I'm hesitant to,
I think
even say the stuff I'm saying right now. Like there are things that I still hold in my heart, but I sometimes don't feel like I'm the right person to be saying it right now, because I know at the end of the day I'm gonna go home tonight probably and have this like crazy argument with the divine of like, why did you do this, or this is stupid, or I'll go, that song that I sang, I could go to like a service or I've gone to things in the last couple of weeks of people that have invited me to other church things, and I've sat and I've listened to them sing or speak, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm dealing with that as well as like saying, but I still think that God's good, even though there are things about His people and His church that I struggle with.
Well, see, that says a lot about your character right there, man. Like that you're willing, like when you're going through all this, you're still like, man, I don't know. But there's that level where you're like, I know you got my back.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for you to show me,
Right. Yeah.
basically.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
it's like, God, like,
Yeah.
I gotta be, like, I've been standing in line for a while. I gotta be coming up to the front.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see that cashier's face any second.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that says a lot, man. Like,
Well, thanks. That's it's nice to hear that, because I definitely feel, I don't know, after everything that happened in September, I definitely have this different perspective that's so strange, and I worry, not necessarily worry, but sometimes I kind of feel a little guilty that I feel as well adjusted as I am, because before I got stabbed, the things that were bothering me,
I think it's perspective.
Yeah, I hated being alive. I hated everything I was going through, and in reality, it was a girl that I had been with for 10 years. Granted, that's a long time. I was with her for 10 years. She says, I don't want to be with you anymore. Okay, or I lost a job that, I really wasn't doing very well in. The hardest thing was I lost my mom, which she was sick. So all of these things were like things that I think, yeah, it's perspective. When on the other side of this giant gash in my back and this wrist cast I have, on the other side of it, like, those things, they sucked. I don't want to invalidate those things.
Yeah,
I think
I'm really sorry you went through all that.
Man, and now I'm like, hey, it happened. I'm, me and my ex-wife are friends. I mean, this is literally when I was in the hospital and they rolled me into the ER. After sitting in the EMS and in the ambulance, and they're kind of sitting silently while they're trying to stabilize me, and I'm like, hey, have you guys seen Infinity War yet? Because it's really dope. And then they roll me into the ER and they're asking me, who can we call? The only phone number I could remember was my ex-wife. So the hospital has to call my ex-wife at 3:00 in the morning and say, hey, this Jeremy Lara guy, he's in the hospital, this, and this. And then she has to then call all of my family, all of our friends that neither of us have really talked to since the divorce.
Yeah.
And basically fill everyone in. And that sort of changed our
It's
dynamic.
so weird how you said that.
Yeah.
When I've told you about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever, I guess, like I said, I really didn't know him until I was like 10, and that's whenever he got attacked.
Yeah.
And but him and my mom hadn't really kept in touch, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that incident led us. We immediately left Amarillo, went to Illinois,
Yeah.
where he lived, and that brought them back. And it was through me because I was a kid,
Sure.
you know what I mean? But I think either way, even if I hadn't have been around, I think my mom would have gone down there.
Yeah.
And they're friends. They're friends to this day. Like, he came through and visited a couple years ago. They tag each other and shit on Facebook.
Yeah.
And like, that's crazy. Like, it's so crazy how you almost went through the same shit
Yeah.
that my dad did. Like, he's a guitar player as well, and he's a martial artist, so he knows Taekwondo. At one point, he grabbed the knife by the blade to take it from the attacker, and he got it back.
Yeah.
But it cut his finger off.
Oh, wow.
And the only thing you worried about in Infinity Wars, he was just worried about playing guitar.
Yeah. No.
Like,
yeah.
they're like, we gotta fix you first. He's like, well, fix this and then focus on everything else. Like,
Right.
they got it to work. He's one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Not just saying that because he's my dad.
Totally.
Left-handed guitar player, so I can't touch any of his shit. He's like, I got Les Pauls, and it's like, yeah, I can look at them.
Yeah.
I
And
can't play them.
try to figure them out. Yeah. Man, I did want to say, because I remember you messaged me probably about a month after everything happened, because I hadn't really told a lot of people, and a lot of people out here, like the 806 crowd, didn't really know what was going on until I posted about it.
Right.
But you'd sent me a message kind of telling me the story about your dad and everything, and really that is one of the things that really kind of gave me a peace of mind, because I was really worried once I found out what happened, because I didn't really know the extent of the damage in my hand until they unwrapped it one time in the well, I take that back. When I was in the apartment, I got a glimpse of what happened to my hand, but it didn't dawn on me. That was like the least of my worries at the time. I was just trying to stay alive.
Right.
But when I got in the hospital, they unwrapped my hand, and I saw these just massive staples all the way across my wrist. I was just like, fuck, dude, I'm not going to. I just played a gig at Golden Light 2 weeks before that.
I remember I tried to make it.
And, dude, Tosh was like, hey, we want you to come and open for this Lubbock band we're bringing in November. And I was like, yeah,
absolutely.
I want to. I'm trying to get this band off the ground and going. And then this stuff happens. I'm just like, shit, man. I just like was trying to finish up an album. The metal band I'm in here in town, we had just like booked a bunch of shows in San Antonio and all over the place. And basically I was in the hospital, and then our bassist had to have back surgery like 2 weeks after I was in the hospital, and so like all the momentum of all of the things that I'd been doing just halted.
Yeah, that like outside of what you're actually going through, just knowing that all this, like I've had that happen, not on any sort of level that you're talking about, but like having momentum and then a parachute, and then it just slows everything down. Yeah, and you got to figure a way to cut it and then get the ball rolling again.
Right.
And that alone is a plate full of just fuck, man.
Yeah.
And then
I think the interesting thing about it though is before everything happened, I was sort of using all of those things, and not to say this is a bad thing. I think some people need to, but for me, I was using these things to kind of avoid dealing with the fact that I just got divorced. The songs I was writing were very much inspired.
I'm glad
that.
you went the untraditional route, and I'm proud of you, man. You were like, I'm not going to the gym. I'm not getting a six pack.
Right,
Fuck that. I'm not gonna buy new running shoes. I'm starting a metal band.
Yeah. I mean, well, and a lot of that was just because I hate working out.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's the worst.
I'll ride my bike and then I'll brag about it.
So for me, the weight loss, I would tell people I was 280 pounds a year ago. I'm like 235 now. And people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. What'd you do? I was like, well, it's a combination of depression and being put in the hospital by being stabbed in the back. That's what happened. Because when my wife left, I basically.
And then you're like, and I ate some fruit.
Yeah. And there's a couple, I did swim for like 3 months, like consistently. And that did help.
I discovered pineapple is pretty good not on pizza, actually. I thought it was only good on pizza. You can eat it alone. Did y'all know that?
Yeah,
it's not a garnish.
Open a can.
It's actual fruit.
Or you can, get an actual pineapple. Yeah, dude. So for me, it was, there were things that I knew that I was good at. And I used to not be able to say that. I used to be like really, really self-deprecating. But I know that I can play music. I know I can play live music. I like being in front of crowds. And so for me, it was I need to write songs so that way I have something to play in front of people. And so that's what I did.
Well, you're one of the acts that, like, when we see you at the 806 before the show starts, like, the crowd's like, oh, fuck yeah. And, like, we know that you and I just lost his name. I love him so much. Son of a bitch. Stewart.
Yeah, Cowan?
Yeah, so you and Stuart Cowan, like, if both of y'all show the fuck up, we're like, oh, it's over. Like, I don't even want to perform. Like, how are we going to, because we know y'all are going to open the show. Yeah. And then comedy usually is like 4 or 5 acts in. So we're like, how the fuck are we going to follow Jeremy and Stuart? Like, that, like, you guys are like, you know how, like, sometimes people are like, oh, we're so excited that you're here to do comedy. It's weird to me to hear that. I'm like, okay, because, like, I used to come here and nobody cared. You know what I mean? So it's weird to have a few people be like, are you going up tonight? Dude, come on, you have to. You have to. Yeah. Like, oh, you've heard all my jokes. No, do this one. It's weird that they want to hear a repeat.
They want to hear the hits.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. But yeah, like, we're like, oh, like, I'm like, is he going to play Taking Back Sunday? Like, I get fucking excited. And then you're one of the only acts that'll get the entire room singing a song.
That's what I mean, I think that's probably the worship leader in me. I just really like doing that. I've been kind of wired to do that.
I guess that makes sense. And I would have never put that together had you not said it.
Yeah. Like, and see, people used to give me shit all the time for playing covers. They're like, play original stuff. And I'm like, I will play some, but I want at least a song that maybe we can all sing together. Because for me, a live music experience is part of it is being able to participate. I just went and saw the Front Bottoms a week ago, and that's very much the vibe that I get when I went to their show is the entire crowd is singing. Even if it's just Twin Size Mattress, which is what most people know by that band. Yeah. That's what's really beautiful for me is this it really is spiritual. It's this communal thing.
That's something I will never have. I would get so fucking upset if I was saying a joke.
And someone was quoting it.
And the entire crowd was doing the joke with me. I'd be like, I'm going to quit my job. Right. You know this, right? Like, y'all just ended my career. Yeah. I had one time my buddy Gage, and I got so, because I felt like I was bombing. I was doing okay. And I just got the crowd. And this is, and I was having a bad day. I was having such a bad day. We booked Zombies. We didn't realize they didn't have a PA. I had out-of-towners coming, like, from Lubbock. Yeah. They showed up. They have Jake the Snake's friend, like his buddy Kool-Aid. He's hanging out. And we have no PA. I'm rushing to get a PA. I'm phoning in, like, calls and favors. Yeah. Finally get a PA. I'm very mad. The crowd isn't, like, no one's really taking door money. Like, we don't have a door guy, so people are just walking in. Yeah. The crowd not even there to listen to
Zombies is a rough room for comedy, it seems like.
Yeah, dude. And then so we go up. I entered, like, first off, I go up and I do my set. Tristan was following me, which was like, the first time he ever followed. Normally I followed him. But he set the show up, so he had the lineup. It was going to be, like, there was a couple acts, and then me, and then him, and then JJ Howe, who was headlining. So I go up, I'm doing my jokes, and then I'm doing my kid. I can't remember what bit I was doing. Oh, no, it was the peanut butter fucking bit, like where I'm talking about my cousin fucking a jar of peanut butter. And I'm like, I know what you're all thinking. And then my friend goes, what kind of peanut butter? Was it Skyman? The same way I said it. And I swear to God, I wanted to fight him. Like, I got off stage, I was like, don't you ever fucking do that to me again. Like, I was being like a diva. You know what I mean? But, dude, I was so angry.
Sure.
And dude, it threw me off so much that I was like...
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and I couldn't remember where I was at in my joke. I was like, oh, my friends are ruining my fucking jokes, haha. Like, trying to make it into a joke. And I was like, well, that was my closer. Fucking have a good night.
Yeah.
And then I introduced the wrong comic.
Oh,
I introduced the headliner.
Yeah.
And then I walked off, and Tristan was like, it's supposed to be me. So I walked back on stage. I'm like, my bad. You guys put your hands together for Tristan Potter.
Oh,
and then he had to go up. It was just a nightmare.
It sounds like it, yeah.
And so, like, I'd be furious if the crowd started chiming in. Like, it's like, be quiet. If you know the joke, just wait for your punchlines, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
unless
that's the fear of doing a joke that you know people have already heard.
Because I want to quote it.
Or they're just not going to be like, when am I going to laugh again? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard it.
I like being at ill shows and hearing stuff that because for me it's not a disingenuous laugh. I just like being able to laugh at the jokes that I know where they're supposed to work.
Yeah.
I like to be one of those people that can just kind of, cash some happy checks and like be like, yeah, I've heard this joke before,
dude, yeah,
but it's funny.
And it was so cool seeing you. Like, you came to a show at Tees. Like, you would just pop up randomly. And we're like, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah,
like, like, I genuinely thought you just happened to kept, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just happened to be at Tees Bar that day. I'm like, oh, dude, we're having a show. You're like, yeah, dude, that's why I'm here. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, okay?
Because at that time I didn't drink, so the only time I would go to a bar was just to go to a comedy show that you guys were doing.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And see, dude, that's weird. We just ordered T-shirts.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to hit you up about that.
Yeah.
I want to get one.
I think we have a show on the 14th. I'll put you one aside.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so the only time I've heard a comedy bit outside of like your blue collar guys that have catchphrases.
Yeah.
Because if you have a catchphrase, you want people to. It's like wrestling. You want them to say, "Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?"
What?
Right? Yeah.
What?
Right. Exactly. But the only bit that I've heard that was you could tell it was smoothly done. It was I almost said the person she's mentioning, Tig Notaro. I saw Tig play.
Okay.
And she has this whole bit about meeting Taylor Dane. It's like a 5-10 minute story, and she just keeps running into Taylor Dane in these different places. And her setup every time is like, you're never gonna guess who I ran into. No. Just guess. And she waits, and I saw her twice. I saw her one every night because they did the showcase at South by, and so she played both nights. So the first night that it didn't happen, nobody participated, but I knew she wanted it to happen. So the next night, she's like, you're never gonna guess who I ran into. And I'm in the back. I'm like, Taylor Dane, and she's like, that's exactly who. And it works. Like, people laughed and like, oh my gosh, that's so funny, right? That's the only time that you want someone to do that. You don't want someone to just yell out.
There are, dude. I've tried to do forced crowd work, which is what she's doing, right?
Yeah.
And it was a show. I was really nervous about this show because it was the first time I was gonna do the "bitch, I look like your savior" joke, right? And like that was a big milestone for me, was being able to make fun of God.
Yeah.
Right. That was was like that. Like, you have your milestones. When can I get away with cunt?
Right.
You know, shit like that.
Right.
So that was one of them. And then my aunt showed up, right? And I haven't talked to her. And like, her husband passed away. And he's like as far as like people who I thought I looked up to, as far as like, I didn't know I wanted to do comedy, but when I think a lot about it, like I think of JJ because like he was a fucking goof.
Yeah.
Like his son Tristan, dude. The whole, like, I got married into this family. The whole time I knew JJ, he never called Tristan. That was his son. He'd be like, Michael, Billy, Aaron, get in here, right? And then finally, like after like 2 years of this, my mom goes, JJ, why don't you ever call him Tristan? He's like, well, that way when I get old and I go crazy, he won't fucking notice. Like that was his reasoning behind it. I was like, that's fucking genius, you know? But so like. I don't even remember where the fuck I was going. Oh, so my aunt's in the crowd, right?
Jesus bit.
Doing the Jesus bit. Well, I had this forced crowd work bit where I was going to ask somebody, like, what do you think makes an alcoholic? and no matter what their answer was, I was gonna be like, yeah, we couldn't hang out. You know what I mean? Like, I have two things. Like, first off, if you say if you can't drink every day, it's like, that's ridiculous. How am I supposed to get shit done? That's how there has to be a reward system.
Right.
And the second one is if you drink alone. Like, that's ridiculous. Clearly, you've never partied. Everyone thinks a party's like there's a bunch of people. Like, no, dude, a party is sitting at home, just getting blasted in your underwear watching cartoons. And that might make me sound like an alcoholic. That's just how I get down. Right? But I asked my cousin, I was like, what do you think makes an alcoholic? And he just fucking froze. Right? And I was like, that's not an answer. So I asked the lady next to him, I'm like, what do you think makes an alcoholic? And she gives me this long-winded answer. Well, I think it's like if if you're able to, like, you can't just have a sip. Like, the moment you have a sip, then you just want to drink everything. And I was like, yeah, we couldn't hang out. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to like, get it, but it felt so forced by the second person that the crowd was into it, but I was like, I'll never fucking do it. I've only done that bit that one time.
Yeah.
Never did it again.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck that.
Yeah. I get that.
The Jesus stuff landed. My aunt, like, I filmed that. It's on the internet. I filmed it just to watch my aunt. Like, I was like, dude, make sure Susan is in the frame because I need to make sure, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, I want to see how she takes these jokes before my mom sees me perform.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, that was a weird night. That was such a, like, I noticed when I'm put on the spot like that though, I tend to do better.
Yeah, because I remember at the Whiskey River show I caught. That was when that girl up front that Matt was hanging out with just kept talking shit the whole night.
Was it Leftwoods?
No, it was Leftwoods. I don't think I've ever actually been to Whiskey River.
Was I really mean to her?
You were really mean to her.
I felt so fucking bad.
Listen, though, that was hilarious.
Dude, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I called her I found her on Facebook, called her the next day and apologized.
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't sleep.
Really?
I fucking lost sleep over that.
Oh, man.
She didn't deserve that. She deserved it the night before, or the week before, when she was heckling me from the back of the room.
Okay.
And then we got into an argument after the show. She was like, well, I was making it better. I was like, no, you're fucking it up.
Yeah.
And I was being a super dick to her then, and I felt bad. And then I saw her sit in the front row. Dude, she didn't do anything that night. All she did was laugh retardedly.
Yeah.
And I fucking went in like a shark who smelled blood.
Yeah.
And I hit her so hard that, like, she didn't deserve that. I openly apologized to her. She accidentally showed up at one of our shows, but she told me she would never come to another one of our shows.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, if you do, I'm buying you a drink and I got your ticket. Don't worry about it. Like, I told her over and I was like, you didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Every time I see her now, I still apologize. She's like, you're fine. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, that's something that will stick with me forever.
Oh, man.
But here's the thing. It did land.
It did.
It landed hard.
It was so good. It was so good. That reminds me of, I don't know, did you ever watch Louis? Did you ever watch this show?
Oh, yeah. Whenever he, like, singled that chick out.
The heckler episode's so funny. It's like there are three things, like, the list of horrible things it goes, the Holocaust, 9/11, or it's like you being born, and the Holocaust, and like 9/11 and something else kind of go on number 3. And he just reams into her, and at the end they're arguing all this stuff. Like, no, like, you're just supposed to be here to watch. Like, I get like 3 minutes a night to do this, and you come in, you ruin it. This is like the only happy thing that we have. I just love it. And she walks away, and they're like, you could have got laid that night. She would have slept with you. He's like, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And it's so, that show, whatever Louis did, like, whatever. That's awful.
It's awful.
But
dude, my girlfriend, I used to do this radio show. And this is why I like podcasting over radio. Because it's not my format, it's theirs. Like, I think I got the job, honestly, because I have a studio.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We did it here.
Okay.
It was like the top 5 rundown, and I would get really upset because it was all about pop culture, and it was like, I was the only white dude on the crew, and it seemed like it wasn't about pop culture so much as it was just strictly black pop culture, which I wasn't well versed in. So I kind of was like out of the loop.
Wait, you're not a black man?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm close.
Yeah.
I'm a blacksmith. That was the dumbest joke. I'm a wizard. Okay. But yeah, so like I never really knew what was going on. Like, I had no idea who Joe Buttons.
Yeah, Joe Budden.
Dude, I thought it was an autocorrect, and I looked up shit on Joe Biden all day. I swear to God, I fucking swear. I was trying to figure out.
Can you believe Joe Budden's podcast?
They were like, from the streets to the, like, now he's rich, and I was like, where are they finding this on Joe Biden?
Yeah.
I swear that's 100% real.
Like, Biden's a G. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just felt left out. But when we were talking about, like, what really upset me about the show was one day our number one story was that there was a picture of Beyonce's baby floating around. I was like, that's our fucking #1 story.
Yeah.
California's on goddamn fire.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like Up Rocks.
We're talking about like this is retarded,
Right,
And like,
yeah.
but I wasn't ever allowed to voice my opinion. Basically, I was like, I can't believe there's a picture out there. That's so crazy. And then when we talked about Louis, my point of view, and my girlfriend shares this with me, so I thought it was okay to say. Apparently, it wasn't. I was like, what he did was wrong. It's disgusting. At least he fucking admitted it. He didn't go all fucking spacey on it. Oh, by the way, I'm gay now.
Right.
He didn't deny. He fucking was like, yep, I did that. I feel horrible. He issued an apology. He removed himself from the spotlight. Yeah. At least he owned up to it. He didn't cowardly take on that at all. Like, he took it. He fucking took it head on, like the way he should have, the way everyone should.
Right.
If you're being accused and you're like, you fucking take it head on.
Yeah.
I thought that was admirable.
Yeah, totally.
Right. I wasn't allowed to say that. We did 9 takes on our radio show that started with me saying exactly what I just said and ended with, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
Like, just despicable. I would never watch him again.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Right.
The day after the allegations, I went back to see how creepy it'd be to watch him immediately after I heard. So I watched his new special, and I gotta tell you, it's weird.
Yeah.
But it was like, I love Louis C.K.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah. He's like, he was.
If he put out a Netflix special right now, I would stop recording this podcast to watch it.
Yeah.
And then we get back on and be like, that was creepy.
Yeah,
Or
it was
whatever,
weird.
whatever it is.
There's an episode of Louis where I can't never remember her name, but it's like the one girl that's like in the show the most. It's like his neighbor, and they have kids that go to school together.
Yeah.
But they're dating, or they go out, and she comes over to his place, and they like kiss. And this is like, I think after he had not been with anybody in a while, and he didn't want her to leave, and they kiss, and she's like, I should probably go, and he like pushes the door shut and like blocks her from leaving.
Yeah.
And like the scene itself before everything came out was like, this is kind of weird, Louis. Like this is weird.
Yeah.
But then like everything kind of comes out about what he did, and you're just like, damn.
That's
weird.
that's what sucks too, man. Like, imagine going through all this shit and it not being like, not necessarily this, but like when it, like any of the politicians that have to go, like, they got like get put through the ringer,
Right.
like, oh, he did this, he did that, and it comes out at the end of the day that it was all wrong. Dude, you're still left with that trial.
Oh,
and,
totally.
Like the OJ thing.
Yeah.
Like, even though he got away with it, we're all like, he fucking did it. Like, I think every trial's like that. Like Casey Anthony, dude, I would fight to death to like be like, I think she did that.
Right.
I would argue with you for hours.
Yeah.
I don't have any evidence, but I truly
think so.
believe she did that.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, but like to just be put through the ringer and then it not be real. Like,
Right.
clearly they're like, all right, the witness said they were lying. They're trying to get money. They're going to jail. They openly said this whole thing's fake.
Right.
Bam. Now you're still left, like, everyone's going to be like, yeah, but he didn't do it. It's like, but the first thing you think about
Right.
is that. And, like, I think that's kind of fucked up with, like, media. And,
Yeah,
like,
totally.
the way that we almost glorify the horrible people. Like, is like, can you believe they did this? And
Right.
it's a news story on Fox and CNN.
Yeah.
Somehow they still disagree. Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
We're all saying he's a horrible person. Yeah, but Fox isn't doing it right. You know, or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, the like when all the different shootings would happen. So first,
I think that they should say there's been a shooting.
right? Yeah, they shouldn't,
And
not say who did it or anything. Like not show their face.
Never show their fucking face.
Yeah, exactly. And
Never show their
There's a
face.
couple like news. I say a couple. There, I watch Phil DeFranco on YouTube.
I have a lot of people tell me that.
He's probably to me he seems to be the best as far as he definitely tries to play. Here's the news, and sometimes he'll give his opinion, but for the most part, he's just trying to report what's happening, and he doesn't say the names or show pictures of people who have caused shootings and stuff like that. And I think if he keeps going and people start to grab a hold, hopefully that might reform some of the way the media, maybe not necessarily
Dude,
24-hour news.
I know. Whenever there's like a crazy thing, like Jihadi John gets like hours of air, like screen.
Yeah.
Dude, you know
Yeah.
how much commercials cost?
Yeah.
This dude's just getting free advertising.
exactly.
He worked at Home Depot. There's a
Right.
free Home Depot plug.
Exactly.
No one's
Yeah.
gonna remember this in a week.
Right. Yeah, and the fun on top of that, or what reminds me of that. So I was in a band for about 2 years in Lubbock, and we worked on a cover of Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People.
Oh man, are you allowed to sing that now?
That's the problem. Every time we would try to play it, a shooting would happen that week, and we'd have to be like, no, we can't play that song. Like literally, one time we had a show.
Oh my
The
god.
week after, or the week of, there was a shooting at Tech, and that security guard got killed, and we were supposed to play that Friday, and it was on the set, and we're like, yeah, I don't think we can play that. I don't think we can play that tonight. And
Dude,
yeah,
I never even thought about it. Like I was
Yeah.
so worried last night and Tuesday night that some of the comics were gonna hit George Bush.
Oh yeah.
And I was like especially at Whiskey River, I was like that'll be too far.
Yeah.
And there was a fight last night. I've never had a fight break out in an open mic because of material before. This kid had never done comedy in his life. You know what I mean? He was like, I think we talked him into it. Like, hey, let's get up there.
Yeah.
He was doing well. He was genuinely making us laugh. He was like, where are my big girls at? You know, and like a few of them raised their hands. Some of them didn't. You know, some people don't want to be called fat. That's just that's fair. That's super fair.
Yeah.
He's never done it. He's on fight or flight mode. He's just trying to get laughs. He's like, and I guess it's probably one of the ones that didn't raise their hand, right? They're over at the pool side. He doesn't know that we don't really fuck with the pool players because they're sensitive as fuck. Like, Jesus. For grown men who drink at a bar all the time, you figure they'd be like a little thick skinned, but
Play
no.
a child's game.
Yeah, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. I said it.
It's a child's game.
said
You're
it.
playing with sticks and balls.
Yeah.
I do that at home for free.
Nice.
No, but so he's like, is anybody with this big girl over here? Probably not the way to go about it.
Totally.
I looked at Thomas as soon as he said that, and I was like, I think that we're gonna have a problem tonight.
Yeah.
And Thomas was blown away that I could read a room that well that I called a fight that happened 15 minutes later.
Yeah.
He was like, he walked up to me like, wow,
Yeah.
wow, that was impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's like, well, I'm just saying, because if you ain't with nobody, I'll take you home tonight. And I think that's where he crossed the line, because it's white supremacists, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the first time he performed there, I swear to God, he had like a rebel flag T-shirt, like a button up on. It was like a long sleeve. It looked like a rebel flag. But yeah, he comes walking in the bathroom. Better watch your mouth, boy. Running in his fucking mouth. We're all like, dude, just sit down. He's like, dude, it's all jokes. It's all jokes. It's all jokes. And then he like kind of wraps up and gets off stage. Logan goes up, introduces me. I go up there, I try. Nobody's listening. The crowd, the pool players are being obscenely loud at this point.
Yeah.
They're all like high-fiving and just like wooing and basically just trying to be louder than us. That dude's fuming. I do like 5 minutes. I don't do much because I just do 2 jokes. I'm just trying to bridge the gap from what the fuck just happened.
Right.
We have a show, yada, yada, yada. We'll be on the 14th. Logan will be hosting. Got these people from Lubbock.
Yeah.
And then get off stage. The DJ kicks the music on. We're all hanging out. He was like, that was weird. And we're like, I think you're fine. And then out of nowhere, this dude's like, you better get out of here. And he bull rushes him. Dude knocks over table, shot glasses, beers break. And then, like, we get in the way. The dude's like, I'm out of here. Grabs his jacket, leaves. Dude, turns out he's active military, right? He was just getting out of there. He doesn't want to get in trouble.
Stone Cold?
No.
Oh,
the guy he fucking bum rushed. The comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This just a little. He's like my height. You know what I mean? Just a little stocky dude.
Yeah.
He gets out of there, goes, sits in his car. He's not able to tab out. Like, they have to run his card. We have to run the fucking tab out to him. The whole time I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, he should be banned.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. I know he's one of your regulars. I know he's on your pool league, but that's fucking ridiculous.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, he's a grown fucking man. He's got his heart broken by a joke. Really?
Yeah.
And then, here's the thing. I get it. I understand why he's mad. He called his girlfriend fat. Like, what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, that was wrong. You know what I mean? I get it. But you don't
But was
fucking,
she fat?
Yeah, of course, dude.
There's no...
This dude's fat. He ain't
There's
calling
no
out.
hate.
Trust
There's
me,
no
dude.
hate.
He's a big dude. He ain't
Yeah.
calling out people who ain't fat.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be fat. I'm just saying, was he calling a spade a spade?
Yeah, exactly.
And be beautiful. You're beautiful. If you're big, you're beautiful.
He was literally hitting on her.
Yeah.
He was like,
that's
I'll
true.
take
From
you.
the stage, yeah. That's
He's like,
probably-
he's like, if you're alone, baby girl, I got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, I like big girls. They got titties in the front and the back. Like, he was just hitting all these jokes.
Oh my
He was crushing, dude.
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
fucking crushing.
Yeah.
And then it was crazy.
No.
That dude, yeah. So I don't know what happened. I was trying to sell it though. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. He just attacked a soldier. I just found out he's a soldier.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm throwing it out there. I'm trying to get this dude
It's
banned.
ammunition, yeah.
I just don't want him to be at the next one.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? Like,
Because now there's like this awkward. It's
yeah.
like,
And now we have to bring it up. You don't think every comic's gonna be like, last time was weird? Like,
right.
like that's our job.
Right. Yeah.
And if someone dies, thank God no one went after the president.
Right.
That would have been
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
You got a palate, man.
I was about to say, what kind of room is Whiskey River? Because I haven't been there. Is it a room that you don't make fun of President George H.W. Bush in?
Yeah.
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 Well, I mean, you described what sounded like a neo-Nazi earlier, so I imagine.
Whenever I'm like, who thinks Trump's going to get reelected? I swear to God.
The room's like on board.
A cross sets on fire in the back of the room. No, Whiskey River's awesome. It's just that one dude's an asshole.
Sure, yeah.
Honestly, Whiskey River's the shit. Like,
I've heard really good things about it.
I love him. This is the first time we've ever had a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
All jokes aside, Whiskey River's the shit.
Yeah.
It's just this one guy. I think the last time we had a problem, it was him too.
It's him. Yeah.
So
I didn't mean to imply if you're a Bush supporter that you're a neo-Nazi. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, you gotta look the role too.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's levels to this fucking.
No, I've heard good things about so the metal band I'm in before I joined.
Dude, Whiskey River has some badass shows come through.
They played Divide and Me. They played Whiskey River before I joined, and it was pretty cool. So, but I mean I heard it was good, and the venue was really nice.
I mean,
about it.
there's assholes anywhere you go.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a small town.
Didn't someone throw a hard hat at you at 806?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite venues.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's where. Honestly, if shit goes down, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing something right. You're poking some buttons. Now you may need to fine tune it. Mm-hmm. And now you know where the line is, right?
Right. And that's half of playing, you know, and doing, especially with comedy. With music, it's different because you're not necessarily trying to get a reaction like that. Comedy and to me, so I watch wrestling a lot, and wrestling plays that way too. Your goal is to figure out what's the best way that I can get this room to react, and then what is the reaction you're wanting to get. If you're wanting to get laughs, then yeah, okay, let me find things. There's some comics that their goal is to.
I have such a hard time watching wrestlers.
Yeah.
Man, because you're like, I know, like, because for a long time you think that's real, right?
Right.
For when you're a kid, you're like, duh.
Yeah.
And then you get to that age where you're like,
no, these
hold
guys,
on. If this is real, that guy's the biggest douchebag.
Right, yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Look at him smile.
Right, yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just like, I have the same thing with poetry. And I tell Thomas this all the time. I'm like, I don't like poetry. He's like, why? I was like, I don't like seeing dudes talk like that. Like, stuff it down. Hide it in a joke like I do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mask it. Fucking dress it up. Don't just say it. What are you doing? And, like, I feel the same way. Like, I don't like seeing dudes act like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're wearing panties.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Right.
Did you see that video? The guy. By the way, wrestling's. If I'm high or something,
Yeah.
I'm drunk,
Yeah.
flipping through and I see it, I end up on it. I watch it for an hour and a half.
I get people don't. I get a lot of people don't enjoy it. It's just not for them. I used to years ago. Used to be with anything. If someone didn't like it, I was like, no, you have to like it because if you don't like it, then you don't like me. And I'm just not like that anymore. This is not. It's not for some people. And for me, just being a writer, which I don't usually say that I am, but I am. Being a writer, wrestling is like the simplest form of like good guy, bad guy, you know, and that's what's been interesting to me. I'm not into it to be like, because I believe that this one man got mad at this other man for taking a leather belt from him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's more like,
or like when like the girlfriend switches to the bad guy's side, and like I know a guy who runs a lot of the wrestling stuff here in town.
yeah.
I know several of them, and like I've heard him talk about writing scripts and doing stuff like that. You see this?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah, Titus O'Neil. I remember I came in on this after it happened, but they played that replay like so many times afterwards. It's so funny. Yeah. I feel so bad for that guy too, cuz like it's this was yeah, and that's the first time that I've heard them crack in so long. It's so funny, man. So basically, if you haven't seen it, is this tall 6'5" black man. He's really big. He could break all of us in half running down the ramp.
I feel so bad for him, dude.
Yeah, and he's trying to slide into the ring, but he miscalculates his slide and jumps at least 10 feet before he's supposed to.
I think he trips,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, he basically trips.
It looks more like a trip.
It's a trip, yeah. No, he tripped. Yeah, his upper body got more momentum than his lower half, and it just got ahead of him. Yeah. It's so bad, man. Well, and the thing is this guy...
Dude, hold on. Watch the guys in the ring.
Oh, no.
They're like...
Yeah. Jeez.
Oh, my God. Dude, that had to, like, hurt himself.
Yeah,
on some
totally, because
level.
there's, like, I'm sure there's, like, all sorts of
Scaffolding,
things down
not
there.
Scaffolding, but, like, bars, and he probably scraped himself
Some
up.
tables, chairs, ladders, all of those things they keep under there. I feel so bad for the guy, though, because he was trying...
He's just doing his job.
He's doing his job well, and see, I'm
just a waiter dropping a tray of dishes as he's trying to take it, or the busser.
Yeah, exactly.
Job opening.
Right, yeah.
Every restaurant ever.
Oh gosh, yeah, I feel so bad for that guy. Poor Titus. He's a good dude though. He does a lot of stuff for the Children's Miracle Network and stuff. He's a good dude.
Have you seen that dude that's like he holding his fists out and they're like breaking bricks over his hands? Right, and then he's while doing the splits or whatever.
No.
And then he grabs a brick to break it over his head, and he's just like,
oh no,
and he just falls off of it. Dude, the commentator's laughing so hard.
Yeah. Goodness.
I don't know how to I spell shit, so it takes me a while to look up shit, but.
It's that video of the guy that tries to bust open watermelons with his head.
Oh, dude, and he's
like
all
a line of watermelons.
He's all woozy by the end.
He doesn't bust any of them. He's just like, that one didn't work. I'll go down the next one. Things like
this
that.
guy, dude. It's like a.
Oh no.
It's like it looks like I don't know. Like I don't want to be wrong and sound racist, but it's a different version of like America's Got Talent.
Yeah, it's like
in India maybe.
Jeez. It's the Mortal Kombat
Oh my
theme.
god, dude. God damn it. That's hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to the funny part.
Oh, he already fell.
Oh, damn it.
Okay. Buddy. Oh, man.
They took out the commentator laughing on this one.
That's awful.
He's all
He's
out.
out.
Dude.
He's out. And he was sitting on a bed of nails, too. Do you see that? The board he was sitting on is also a bed of nails. Did he break his neck? Like, you see how he can't hold his head up? It's like weirdly...
Oh, he's still trying.
No.
Oh, poor guy. The one I saw may have been edited to be a lot funnier.
That's hard to watch. Yeah, I felt bad.
That's commitment, though. He got up and was like,
yeah. Just one more. I think I can do it. I think I got this.
I can really sell it with this last one.
Yeah. Well, it looked like he only successfully broke one.
Dude, he was like drunk. He looked drunk.
Yeah.
Dude. I feel so bad for that guy.
That's worse.
I don't know, but that kind of shit makes me laugh. It's like there's this clip on Your Mom's House from Tom Segura, right? Him and his wife have their podcast called Your Mom's House, and they're watching this dad try to read just dumb jokes, and he can't stop laughing, and like he can't even get through it, right? And she's like, "It's adorable,"
Right?
And he's like, they're talking about how they're like, "Dude, I wish I had that level. I wish I could find something like that funny, that easy. I wish I could do that on stage and just kill, but like it's just."
Yeah.
It's not in us, you know?
Right.
And then she goes, what if he's like a real POS and he just like beats the shit out of his wife every night? And yeah, exactly, dude. He started laughing. She's like, I fucking knew you would laugh, you piece of shit. Like I knew you. And like I was laughing.
Yeah, no, because
And
it's funny.
It's way funnier.
It's funny to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, just this guy who can't stop. Okay. But yeah, it's just one of those things. She's like, I knew that would make you laugh. And it made me go, like almost like she was talking to me. I was like, yeah. That's some shit that would definitely. I mean, I'm in tears.
Yeah,
I'm in stitches.
It would land for sure.
Yeah, dude, it was so funny.
Oh man.
So yeah, man. So outside of everything else, man, you doing all right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm in physical therapy every week, like twice a week,
Yeah.
and just trying to get my hand back and trying to get back to work and.
It's just a slow process, man. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you got this.
Yeah, I want to get back to like the 806 and stuff like that too, and figure out what I can do until I can play. But
Just do ukulele.
see, yeah, I thought about that. I was working out
tambourine, harmonica.
Yeah. So my first performance at 806 was in January ever. It was like my first ever thing other than like church stuff in a long time.
Oh yeah.
I was in January. I played, I think it was like the 14th of this year, and I played some stuff that I had been writing, but I did a poem too, and so I've been kind of working through some of that and trying to figure out, if I could do
I'm
that.
also
or if I
jealous
could-
of poets because I'm like, that
I mean,
you guys are doing better. Like I can, y'all have to go word for word. I can sit in the pocket for a second.
No, I would rather do that. I would rather. Poetry is really just, for me. I don't really consider myself a poet. The poetry I've written is just. They were just things that I couldn't find music to.
There's song lyrics.
Basically.
See,
Or I secretly want to have a rap album produced before I die.
oh man, I want to be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to do a rap album, but I want to be like I want to shoot a rap video.
Yeah.
So I want to do get somebody else's like let's say you become a rapper.
Sure. Yeah.
You're about to do a video.
Yeah.
You've done videos before, so instead this time I'm just gonna learn your song.
Yeah.
And we'll shoot the video the way you want it, but I'm the rapper in the
Right.
video.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
all I want.
It's like when Flavor Flav did that Taking Back Sunday video.
Kinda. Yeah. Basically, that's fucking yes.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find a way to explain that to people without
Yeah.
sounding like an idiot, and that is it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not really, because Coheed and Cambria did that with Not Welcome Home, the other single that everybody knows, Favorite House Atlantic. But it wasn't
Isn't there another one that everyone knows?
Welcome Home. Those are the two that most people know by them. Yeah.
Down, down, blam, 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 down, down, right?
Maybe.
Someday, this day,
I don't
never,
know.
never, anyway. Right? That's all. I
don't
only
know
listened to
that
it like
one.
once or twice.
I don't know that one by Coheed and Cambria.
Come on.
I only know two. Welcome
I
Home. is
think
the
it's
one.
like I'm not coming home. It might be.
It might be Welcome Home.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
I don't
See,
know.
I that's like one of the ones I only heard on the radio.
Yeah, me too.
Like one of the bands that you're like,
I bought their album and I couldn't get into it.
that guy's voice is like a one song voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can jam you one song.
Yeah. And then we're good.
Hopefully, I land on the good one, the first run through on the hopefully it's number one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would like to be back soon, but I definitely want to be able to play somewhat competently, so I can, because for me, I mean, it's about putting on a show and stuff, so I definitely want to get back to that. Yeah, and also just like trying to get more comfortable being back in the Amarillo area, just because like I was telling you, I think I messaged you or someone, I don't really spend a lot of time here
Right.
past sundown.
Yeah.
I basically am here for therapy sometimes, and then sometimes I'm like further south or whatever. But
How far is Borger for?
so Borger's about 45 minutes.
That's not
It's
bad.
not far.
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's not far. So,
And
and I'm back and forth from there to like Lubbock area and here right
Okay.
now, just kind of all over. But
nice.
but yeah, I'm trying to kind of find some sort of normal again.
Yeah.
Which is hard when you don't like have all of your faculties. Like, my hand is definitely something. I tried to help set up a sound system yesterday, and like trying to put speakers up, and like it wasn't happening. And the lady who was helping me, she was really cute, and she's like trying to help, and but she didn't realize how heavy it was either. So I'm like holding one handle and trying to like maneuver with this hand, and she's trying to hold the weight too. And all of a sudden she like doesn't realize how heavy it is, so she like lets go. So now I have this, and I can't push with this hand, and we just drop the speaker.
Oh.
And I felt bad because like they were trusting in me to be like a competent sound guy that knew what I was doing, and how this thing's happened, and now it's like this weird awkward feeling of like I don't think they trust me now. Like they think that I'm just kind of like this schmuck who's
Right.
like, yeah, I know how to do sound, but I've been doing sound for like 10 years.
See, I don't know how to do sound. I don't know how
Yeah.
to edit videos. I don't know how to do any of that shit.
That stuff's so fun. Like that's what I would do. I mean, all the stuff I do on YouTube, I did my like the editing. I would do recording for it.
See, I wish I knew how to do all that.
It's
I need to get someone on my roster.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the next thing. No, don't worry about stand up.
yeah.
Do you know how to do this?
Right, yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
Come on.
you do video production. I don't need any more funny people on
Yeah.
the thing.
If you do comedy, that's cool too. But
Right,
also, we need you to.
right,
Can you
I
make
mean,
flyers?
yeah. That's the music industry too. Like a lot of like dudes that are trying to play music, they're just like listen, it's cool if you want to be in our band, but we actually just need someone to help produce this album or like do this or do that. Like a lot of
Right.
people that, and not to discredit producing, and those things are really important. But like for me, I know at some point, you know, being like almost 30 and like having done music not for very long as far as like independently, at some point I'm going to pass the threshold where I can tour and people will legitimately want to come and see me unless they've heard of me.
Right.
Because I'm not pretty enough to be in like a nice pop punk band, but I'm not like amazing at guitar that I can be some ugly guy that fucking shreds. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like at some point it's like, okay, I'll take what I've learned and like help other people do it, which is the pastor in me. I mean, that's half of what I did when I was a pastor was I taught all of my band in the church were kids that I taught in youth group how to play music.
Nice.
And they stuck with me until most of them graduated. So it's just a band that followed all the way through their school career.
That's awesome.
And that's something I really like. And that's half the reason why I really like 806 and I've been trying to like be supportive of the shit that's going on here. Because like if I can't do something, I want to be able to try to help somebody else do it.
Right.
Because there are a lot of people that are way more talented than I am. And I want to see them succeed. If I can't succeed maybe in this particular vein, I'd like to help somebody get there. You know,
Right.
I'd like to get there, but if I don't, if I at least helped somebody else, it'd be really dope.
Right. I always like to see my friends succeed. My friend Cody
Yeah.
Jasper's crushing life right now.
Really.
Out in L.A., fucking
Nice.
red carpets and shit,
Dang.
performing every fucking night. He's a guitar
That's sick.
player.
Yeah.
Dude, unbelievable. Like he's like a fucking fucking blues like style, like just shreds over
Yeah.
like the back. Dude, watching him play makes me like want to write. I want to be like I say, I want to be as good at what I'm doing as
Yeah.
you are at what you're doing.
Yeah. It's cool to find people like that.
And
too.
just to see him, because I've known him for years, just to see him fucking crush it. He's like, I mean,
yeah.
like for anybody. Like,
Did you have this guy on the podcast?
No, we were going to.
Okay.
We were going to. He rarely is in Amarillo.
Sure.
He was around. He was in town on Thanksgiving. He played at Hoots. I
Okay.
think on either the day before or the day at like somewhere in that little 3-day period.
Sure.
It may have been Thanksgiving Day itself. But he was like, you can come up here and we can record. And I just don't really. It's hard to get all the shit together to go somewhere and do a podcast.
Right.
I'd just rather do it here.
Yeah.
And, and just kind of fizzle. We all have family shit going on.
Sure.
And by the time my sister was in town and her husband's my brother-in-law. It's so weird to say that.
Yeah.
They came over and hung out. So by the time everything was said and done, I
time got away from
forgot
you.
about it until
Yeah.
like 3 a.m. basically is
Right.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, Cody's fucking crushing life.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see somebody that you grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
like especially whenever you're actively seeking along the same lines of what he is.
Sure.
As far as like, as in like, get your name out there, becoming
Mm-hmm.
well known, like fame on a certain level.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see
Yeah.
someone succeed at that, and like we're getting to witness the beginning,
Yeah.
and he's gonna, this kid's gonna blow up,
Yeah.
blow the fuck
It's
up.
cool to see that. And I think like you have to kind of want, as much as like artists and stuff, they're like, it's not really about the fame. It's like there has to be an amount of it that you do want to be
Even if
known.
even if you're not saying it out loud to anybody,
Yeah.
you're saying it in the mirror.
Well, and you're playing
Like one day I'm gonna fucking have a
Yeah.
mansion. One day I'm
Yeah.
gonna have, dude. One day I'm gonna have a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
One day I'm gonna have.
Well, and you're playing your music, or you're doing you're playing your comedy shows, or your whatever medium you're using. You're putting that out to people, and even I think the most purest artist that's like, I just do it because it's an expression of me. It's like, yeah, but you don't have to share your expression with people. So why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's because you want people to see you.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
All it was, it's not enough hugs as a kid.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right? It's a weird stepdad.
Yeah, my dad was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, not gone, but I didn't have really a dad around all the time.
Yeah, my
so
stepdad was a psychopath.
yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's part of.
And I learned early on, his brother was the one I was talking about that I looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
I learned early on if I made Mo laugh, my like sentence, if you look at it like that, I'd get ungrounded sooner.
Yeah.
Like my first real joke that I really, really, really remember was he collected DVDs, right? Like we had a shit ton of DVDs,
Yeah.
hundreds, and so he would like lend them to his brother. He had a couple brothers, so he'd lend them out. But what he did is he made them write their names down and write down what movies they took, and then
wow.
like he would literally call them like a week later, like, "Yo, bring me back my shit."
Yeah. A human blockbuster.
And while he was doing this, I was grounded, and a Geico commercial came on. It's like, you can save tons of money, but tons of money on your car insurance by switching to Geico.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just blurted out, I was like, you can save tons of money on your DVD rentals by switching to Monroe. And everyone laughed.
Nice.
Right? And then
Yeah.
like the next day I was ungrounded. Like
Yeah.
I was having like friends could come over again. Like, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of related it to like, I made him laugh so he's not as mad at me.
Right.
Like,
It's sort of like it's so interesting because I've heard a lot of comics that are like that. Like they either are, their jokes are to kind of like ease the tension. Like maybe the house isn't like the best environment to be around. So it was like a tension easer. They were the person that sort of helped things be less stressful.
But that would, you'd try that, like that. Yeah. But sometimes I felt like when I made him, like if I made my mom laugh, like while he was mad, it made him even more mad.
Sure.
Like it just fucking infuriated him.
Yeah.
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 It was weird. The weird shit. He's a psycho though.
Yeah.
Like an absolute,
Like
probably should be locked up.
legitimate psychopath.
He's insane.
Yeah.
He shot a gun off in our house.
Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, the insane people are the worst.
Yeah, but they're also, I mean, like, the older you get, they're fun to hang out with on a good day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, on a good day. Yeah, if they're not trying to stab you.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. On a good day. No, like, I like to watch crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not like if I'm out in public,
Mm-hmm.
or like even like whenever like truth slips through, like whenever your buddy's like having a bad day, he's like, I fucking just told my boss off, right? He just quit his job or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like the little bit of truth that can slip through. He's like, I was yelling at him. I knew I already lost my job. So I was like, look, dude, I don't owe you this. I don't owe you anything. This company, I don't owe anybody anything, which is not true, dude. I owe like 3 drug dealers and a couple banks. I'm kind of fucking freaking out. But I was fucking giving it to him. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I love those moments.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those are beautiful to me because it's human.
Right.
It really brings a human element. Like you could hate that person, and then you see that little bit, and then like all of a sudden you start thinking like, oh, they used to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, dude, he had a favorite bike. You know what I mean?
Right,
And and all of a sudden you humanize him down to a level where you're like, even though you don't like him, you
Yeah.
don't hate him.
Yeah.
You kind of love him on some level.
Well, yeah, you start to remember like that we're all these people trying
Yeah.
to we're stumbling through the dark trying to figure out how to find some sort of light, and some people just like they were searching and searching for the light, and they found maybe a like a little I don't know like squishy ball that would flash on and
Yeah.
off every so often, and that's their light, and you every so often it goes off and you're like, oh, that's what I'm looking for, but hopefully I can find it, maybe not as weird as that one.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
dude. But it's so beautiful to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
someone to just because everyone is different. Like, dude,
Yeah.
we're all different. Like, we all dance when we're alone, bro. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody dances. Everyone sings fucking. I don't know any songs from Wicked, but if I did, I'd sing them out loud. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone does that shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if I'm playing, I've put Bing Cosby on. Right, Dear Heart and Gentle People,
Yeah.
or from my hometown. That song,
Yeah.
from Fallout. Put that on in a room with a camera and me alone, and see if I'm not belting it at the top of my
Right,
lungs. I
doing
can't
like
sing.
a little like waltz or
Oh,
something.
bro, yeah, I'm getting it.
Getting
Like,
into
I'm
it,
doing
yeah.
like the like Frank, like
Yeah.
from Always Sunny.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got the moves.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
getting
yeah.
it, man.
No, yeah.
It's people are people, so it's cool whenever like especially like someone who's like mean to you, like a bully or something, and then you see that side of them for a second.
Yeah.
That's a cool fucking thing, because like all of a sudden you go from hating this person to like, I remember I hated my stepdad. Fucking hated him.
Yeah.
One time I woke him up while he was sleeping, so I needed something or something like that, and his eyes like weren't adjusted yet, and he just kind of looked out of it and like almost vulnerable, like weak. And in that moment, I felt compassion for him, and I fucking hated this dude.
That's wild, man.
You know what I mean? But just that little bit of
Yeah.
like coming back, you know, like we all sleep. I've been there. Like all just
Yeah.
being able to relate with him on the smallest thing, and then building it back to child. You know what I mean, or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
Like it runs
Yeah.
through so fast.
Right.
But it was yeah,
Yeah, we're all scared children.
basically, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever goes away.
No. I think that's what, not to go back to too much about like the beginning of our talk, but I know that a lot of people, their frustrations with the church is the fakeness, the kind of like isolation that's unnecessary.
I'm stingy. I'm like, what the fuck you want my money? What
Right,
do you want my
right,
money?
exactly.
What are you gonna
right.
do with
Well,
it?
and then like people are going there to connect, and you feel so alone.
Am I a board member?
Right.
Huh? Am I
Yeah.
gonna be there? Do I get to
Exactly.
decide on fish tank or?
Right. Yeah. And all of that stuff, man. Like, but really, the thing that, if people were to ask me, like, is church important? I would say yes, but obviously there are a lot of things that you have to kind of not have to, but
It's
You're-
important for
you-
people who need it, man.
right. Well, and you're not going to get anything out of it if you don't necessarily agree or believe. But the point is that what's beautiful about the church for me has been the connection with people, when you can have authentic, beautiful connection with people. And I believe that can happen outside of the church. I believe it's supposed to happen outside of the church. The church is just a place.
See, every time I had one of those, it felt fabricated because
Right.
we were at church.
Right, exactly. And I would have to imagine that you actually have had probably, not to assume, but you probably had more authentic connections with people in other, whether it be the comedy scene or,
Absolutely.
you know what? And I think that there's something divine about that.
Yeah.
And that's what's really cool is I was listening to Pete Holmes talk today about just kind of like his perspective on Jesus and stuff and how Jesus was trying to teach. He's like, listen, I am the vine and you are the branches. And he's trying to communicate we're all one, we're all people, we're all together. And I think that there's something really interesting. I needed the 806 when I got there. I needed that place, and I made some really beautiful connections there. And that is definitely not a church. But there was something deeply spiritual and beautiful about being there that brought the same kind of light that I would have found in Jesus. And the only difference between me and maybe somebody else is that for me, I attribute that good and that light to the divine.
Yeah.
Not to take away from the people, whether it be Thomas or Jason or you or Matt or the litany of people I met there.
No, I get what you're saying because
Yeah.
there's a show called I think it's called I'm Dying Up Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this is not happening and I'm Dying Up Here.
Mm-hmm.
Confused. This is not happening is on the internet and Comedy Central. This one's on Showtime. I'm Dying Up Here.
I have heard about the show. Yeah.
I believe it got canceled, so there's only 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But in the first season, one of the comics, it's like actually how they open the show,
Mm-hmm.
so you never really get to know him. But he dies, right? And they're like, "Do I book a church?" And she's like, "No, we're standing in one." And they have everything at the comedy club.
Yeah.
And like that's what I would want.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, dude, have my shit at Leftwoods
Totally.
instead of a church.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, burn me, put me like everything go at Leftwoods. Don't spend a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like, that's the most important part of this.
Right.
Like, don't spend a lot of money. I know, like, it automatically costs like around $1,000 the moment someone dies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anybody to be going broke because of me. Like, dude, boom, have a comedy show, band play or something.
Yeah,
have
dude.
some drinks, and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gone. Because like in my current state of belief, I genuinely believe like just like a rabbit.
Yeah.
Like,
you're done.
Like it affects you guys way more than it's going to affect me.
Totally. And I think that for me, I don't try to fixate too much. I spend a lot, and Christians like to do this. They like to fixate a lot about the afterlife, and rightly so. Because you want to figure out, well, where am I going to go if I die? It's
And that's I think a lot of them that do that, they have to do that in order to talk themselves out of doing shitty things.
sure.
You know what I mean?
I could see that. And
Because I never think about the afterlife, but I will
Right.
I will 9 times out of 10, I think I'll do the right thing over the wrong thing.
right, I think that's the whole goal. That's another thing. Not to keep Pete Holmes has been probably my favorite comic because basically his journey has been similar in that he married his high school sweetheart, or he married this girl really, really early, started pursuing comedy. His wife leaves him. He starts to spiral in his faith and start deconstructing, starts to blow up as a stand-up, is exploring spirituality all at the same time. So everything he's been talking about has been really interesting, but he mentions about like the concept of sin. Churches like to say that sin is like looking at sin or trying to avoid sin is like to try to earn demerits or points with God and trying to earn favor. But if you look at the scriptures, there's no way to earn favor with God other than Jesus. So really sin is about trying to unmuddy the water as much as possible. There's a stream that's happening in our life, and it's meant to bring us the most joy and most life, and whether that's found in the church or it's found in belief, not found in belief. The point is, all of the sin are sticks and stones that are sort of screwing with that stream, and for us to try to make decisions that would lessen those interruptions so that we can live this life really well. Like, don't kill people.
Right.
Like, that's obvious. And,
Right.
And if you were to kill someone, or don't steal, or don't whatever, those things, are finding not running away from it because it's wrong, but identifying that those things actually interrupt you and other people's experience towards something better is
Right.
really, really important. And I think having either believing God or not, I think most people, if we were to look at it that way, I think we could all relate in that don't be shitty.
Yeah, see,
You know what
I
I
used
mean?
to get really upset when I was a kid, and let's say like we'd be like there used to be a Tootin' Totem that had a Subway in it over off Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can distinctively remember me and my mom going to eat. I only ate half my foot long, walking out, still had my chips and an entire like 6-inch sub,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a homeless dude sitting there, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, and I just gave it to him. I'm like 11 or 12, right?
Yeah.
My mom was like, see, that's the Lord. That was the Lord working through you. And I was like,
Mhm.
fuck that. I did that. I'm a
Right.
good person. I didn't think about him once.
Right.
I was like, this poor motherfucker. Bam. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
getting lunch money tomorrow. Bam. Eat
Right.
this sandwich. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, he had nothing. Like, why can't I have credit?
Yeah.
And that I used to hate that. I used to
That's-
hate
yeah.
that anytime I did something good, it was the Lord working through me. And then if I did something bad, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, no, dude, I'm either an asshole and I'm awesome,
Right.
or it's the devil working
Totally.
through me and then
Yeah.
God working through me. I have no
Right.
control.
Yeah.
You know? But
Yeah.
I know I have choice.
Right.
It says that shit in the Bible.
Right.
I'm awesome.
Right.
Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
No,
I used
yeah.
To, I used to think
Totally. And I think I land. So I used to be this kind of like the way I would describe it is you're an either or person or a both and person, and I used to be either or, and now because I would either say yeah, it is the Lord working in you, or no, it was you doing. But I think it's both. I think it's our propensity to do good to people is a divine thing that exists in us whether we like it or not.
I just look at something like, if I was in a situation,
Right.
I would love a sandwich.
Right.
Boom. Here's
Right,
a sandwich.
right. Your
Like,
your ability for compassion, right, is something that obviously is kind of learned, but also just kind of like human decency that stirs up in some people, and some people it's not. There's some sort of block that keeps people from doing that.
yeah.
But the thing I would say is like it is Skylar being awesome and being a good dude,
I am awesome.
and it is also the divine saying, I made you that way, and it's both. And a lot of people have a hard time with that because it either robs them of credit or I don't know what the opposite side of that is. But the point is I used to be like, someone would be like, oh, you did a really good job this Sunday or whatever. You're like, no, it's Jesus. And while it is, there is some credit to be given to God. I learned to play guitar, right? I made the choice to do those things
Oh, that's funny.
and to be that.
No.
Right. And now for me,
Jesus caught this
right,
fish.
for me, like God, the divine, Yahweh, whatever you want to say, I know, if I believe what I believe about humanity is that we're all image bearers. We all echo the divine, whether we like it or not. And it's okay. It's okay if we do, and it's okay if we acknowledge it or not. I think that at the end of the day, we echo the Maker, and so the good that comes out of us is the same way that we have some genetic things that our parents give us.
Right.
There's a spiritual DNA in us that is really powerful.
Did you hear that?
I did.
I wonder what the fuck that was.
Mm.
I'm gonna go look. It's probably my dogs.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
have
say
3 dogs.
if I disappear,
No, you're good, man.
what day is it?
Well, back. That was just my fat dog.
Yeah, way
leaning,
to go.
Leaning up against a door.
Nice.
This is what happens whenever you're like, eat as much food as you
Right.
want.
Yeah, you just want him to be happy.
Dude, I love her so much.
It's the compassion in your heart that the divine's placed in you to care
Oh,
about creation.
And it's not me, dude, because if it was up to me, I'd be like, fuck that dog.
Right.
But
Right.
since the Lord loves me, I love this dog.
No, yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and play a song at the end, man.
Okay.
This is going to be by Token, Flamingo.
Token flamingo.
I dig it. I just want to say thanks for coming on the podcast.
Dude, yeah.
Thanks for sharing your story, man.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
I love doing this stuff.
Hey, you're the best, man.
Sweet. You are too.
Incognito, don't know where the he go. She go down torpedo. I get long neck like flamingo. I be on top of the steeple. I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego. I deserve a clap clap. Let me get a flashback. I was selling weed to all the kids out of my backpack just to let the cash back. Put it in a trash bag. Saving up my studio money cause I'm a lab rat. I was in a backpack. I was getting laughed at. Principal telling me I was going down a bad path. Now everybody who was calling me a loser wanna be an entrepreneur. We're telling me I'm a badass. Hey, chip on the shoulder, chip on the forehead, chip on the canvas. Hey, that big man on campus, way too big for the campus. Hey, oh, they want me to roll over and do tricks for the cameras. Hey, I don't really gotta tell the man is all I really wanna do is damage. Incognito, don't know where the he go. She go down torpedo. I get long neck like flamingo. I be on top of the steeple. I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego. I do it off of my ego. Incognito, don't know I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego. I do it off of my ego. Nana, I think you get nada. Can't afford a PJ, but I fly in my pajama. I rap about my problems, the shit I don't tell mama. Then show my fans like voila, I'm so fucked up, haha. In school I just heard blah blah. Teacher said I'm artistic, either that or autistic. Tomato, tomato. I wanna make some dollar, don't wanna be like Papa. I wanna pay his bills like magic and tell them haters, tell them. Pull to his out when he call on me. Pull up with a bag like it's all on me. Pull up with a chick, now she on me. Stop talking on my shirt, that's Steve OG. That's 3 + 3, that's 600 for the t-shirt. Please keep it secret, don't call my mother. I got that shit, won't cop another. Cause mom's still working a job this summer and she belong at the beach. Toes all in the sand. Mommy told me since 13 I was a grown motherfucker man. Groupie in the van, baby on the hand, leading in the tram. Damn, maybe on the glam, maybe with a am. And pimping in advance, take a fucking chance. Pretty with a hand, I spit at the camera. I feel like a pocket. I do my own dance, I don't really rock it. Step out of line, then I'll be gonna dunk. I'm clean with the shots. Incognito, don't know where the he go. She go down torpedo. I get long neck like flamingo. I be on top of the steeple. I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego. I do it off of my ego. I'ma do it only for the people who be looking at me like the competition and they wishing I don't pop. I'ma get a Rari in the Bentley and an Audi just to put them in the back of the video as a prop. I don't even know about the cost, but I'ma get them all just to look in the garage. I'ma get a drop top just to be closer to God. He gon' be looking at me, he gon' be giving me props. He gon' be giving me jobs, he gon' be giving me guap. He gon' be giving me bitches, they gon' be giving me top. I think I'm son of a gun, I think I'm son of a god. And I'ma be coming back if they put me up on the cross. Put me up on the chopper, put me up in the castle. I'ma be on a horse, he put me up in the saddle. Tell me who wanna battle, if it isn't a hassle. Tell me who is the goat and I'ma kill off the cattle. I'ma kill off a hero, now they saying I'm evil. To me though, I'm like Dalai Lama. He flow just like agua agua. Deep throat just like an anaconda. They want me to be down and under, but I jump right in with a cowabunga. I'ma come out clean, never doubt, I wonder. I'ma kill them all, then I count the number. And I don't care if it's 1,000 gunners in a semi-automatic with a sound of thunder. I'ma get my cash like a bounty hunter. If you prayed for my fall, you were out of luck. In my stomach growling like I'm out of supper. I'm power hungry, this power hunger. I eat whatever my mouth is up to. Drink sewer water right out the gutter. I'm a basket caser, I'm a magic maker. Smooth ass potato with an ounce of butter. I'm dirty, you now will suffer. I'll make you cry just to shower under my fucker. Incognito, don't know where the he go. She go down torpedo. I get long neck like flamingo. I be on top of the steeple. I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego. I do it off of my ego. Incognito, don't know where the he go. She go down torpedo. I get long neck like flamingo. I be on top of the steeple. I do it off of the ego. I do it off of my ego.